I've arranged everything as you asked. Brewer's body will be found in her apartment with the note. The scene will be set. Everyone will be convinced that she has taken her own life. It will appear to be an overdose. She was weak, she was overwhelmed. After the autopsy, the body will be taken by our friends and destroyed. The secret is safe. Brewer is dead.
You have done well. Your future is assured. As long as I have control of the process and the equipment, I have control of immortality. I alone can bestow everlasting life. I will decide who will serve me on the new world and who will be obliterated. Earth has become a disgusting, filthy cesspool. The degenerate, the weak and the pathetic flourish. They have become vermin, ungodly. I will save the best of humanity and I will end this world. I will be their redeemer.
Just for beginning, the interview about the new album, which is based on a science fiction book. Could you say some words about Stephen Hawking passed away a few days ago? And
yeah, it's very sad. And I'm writing a song which is a tribute to Stephen Hawking. It's a brand new song, and I'm working on it now with Chris Appleton. It will be a tribute to Stephen Hawking. It is a loss, but he did pass at what many years ago would be a very good age. So even though he was physically he was crippled, for me the inspiration of Stephen Hawking, apart from his scientific achievements, as a human being, to not give in to this prison that became his body is incredible, and it's heroic. He's an absolute hero. It really, in the giants of physics, Stephen Hawking stands taller than any other physicist in the history of the world, and possibly in the future, because of what he has overcome and continued to function in the face of impossible odds, which I think many people would have given up.
Yeah, it's a great loss. Now you've done it, you know, the trilogy you imagined is over. And what is actually are you okay with the expectation you got it when you started the project?
It started with the book,
yes,
which I started writing, and then when we started coming up with songs, this was what I had for lyrics, a lot of ideas and notes, and it worked really. We had too many songs for one album, and then the idea came and it made sense. It is a trilogy. So this story of this man who has such a dark past that finally finds redemption and believes that he can change, that in the circle of his own self-destruction he can break out of that he can find a way to change against impossible odds. After he has tried to change, and then he has been dragged back in to this circle of self-destruction by the evil of this organisation. So this story I think I've been passionate about, and the entanglement part of the story provides a question constantly about the connection of all human beings with each other telepathically. If in quantum physics we have the entanglement of particles, that two electrons will always know the position of their partner no matter what, instantaneously. And if human beings are comprised of electrons and atoms, then why wouldn't two human beings that have a deep relationship, why wouldn't they sense? It's impossible that they wouldn't sense. And for me, as telepathy becomes an area which becomes more legitimate in scientific research, then it will be discovered the particles that are responsible for telepathy. And it is this this idea of the entanglement of two people across a galaxy 1,000 years apart that provides a lot of the story.
Yeah. But actually, does this idea was imagined earlier, you know, with your album Silicon Messiah?
Silicon Messiah is of its time, and so is Infinite Entanglement, because at the time of Silicon Messiah, everybody was talking about artificial intelligence and how machines, and computers specifically, were starting to be fast enough and big enough, perhaps they would be able to think, and perhaps you could store consciousness in a machine. That was Silicon Messiah. And as time has gone on, what has happened is now it is accepted by many people that the future, not far away, is definitely that human consciousness will be able to be stored, at least, and perhaps it's accepted in the near science fiction, human consciousness will be able to be transferred. And that's what's happening now. And these ideas from Silicon Messiah about genetically perfect human beings, about ghosts inside the machine,
yes,
about a man who has his consciousness taken and he pays for an immortality to be in a machine, but then finds he's trapped with no body or arms, with nothing, just a consciousness, and he goes mad, being the ghost in the machine. That is of its time, and now as the trilogy comes, we accept now, we think that it's not so far away that we will be able to leave our flesh and blood body and occupy a new body.
Yes, so is there in any way an optimistic message in your trilogy about the connection between each other, the thing that we can have a contact with no physics or something?
I don't know, you have to decide whether it's an optimistic message. I think it is a message that as humans we are connected, as all humans are connected, and then in a deeper sense the people that we are closest to we have the strongest connection with. And I think sometimes we have to remind ourselves to feel things and allow ourselves to feel. In the song Are You Here, then it's the part 3 of the trilogy, then the person that he cares most about, that he loved so deeply, that he thought would be there, he thought he would receive a message from her, then he asks, are you here? You told me to feel, but I don't know if you are real. And it's a question that runs all the way through. When he met her, she was real. She was the doctor that transferred his consciousness, unknown by him, into the machine. And now at the end of this journey, as his consciousness is in the machine body, she is promised that she will be there and she will send a message without words, but he has no sense of that message.
Yes.
Is she there?
Maybe.
In the book you will find out.
The review of the album were very good.
Yes, it cost me a lot of money.
And the review mentioned your work on the songwriting and about the chorus.
Yes.
What was most of the part of the songwriting you had to struggle?
I think the struggle was with everything. from the beginning. Sometimes things came together. Escape Velocity came together very quickly. I had some lyrics written down and it's like, oh, should we try this? I think it's a fast song. But even though it came together quickly, then still for Chris it's very difficult because he has to play so fast. It's like he has to play at 25,000 miles an hour, which is escape velocity. I said, oh, can you play it faster than that? He's going, what? I go, no, try some. He's and he's going, so I think some of it was, I need to address this message and I need to find the lyric or I have a key to it. So for the song Infinity Entanglement, for me it was such a great start because it is basically setting out the premise of the standard model against quantum physics and it not aligning, so which is great. And then on this third part of the album, my favourite lyric is for the song Are You Here, where he says broken, burned and damned, I'm the impossible machine. So for me it's I'm very proud of it, but it's sometimes the chorus would come, sometimes we had to try very hard to find the right thing, but always it was the journey of the song. So where do we start, where do we want to get to, where do we leave the listener at the end of the song? So we constantly thought, how do we connect? Every song has to be connected to the story, and especially on part 3 it has to close the circle.
Yes.
It has to answer the question that we asked on part 1 and part 2. On part 3 the song 18 Days has to answer the question about what happened when the world, why is the world turning the wrong way? And so on 18 Days it has to, this is why it feels like it's turning the wrong way.
Yeah, so it's a perfect link to my next question, because 3 albums in 2 years, do you think it would have been possible with a major company? Because
No, it would be impossible, I think, because my experience is they would say, we see how the first one goes. If the first one does well, okay, but we won't, if it doesn't do well and nobody likes it. Years ago, perhaps, you would have had the thing where somebody of the status of Deep Purple or Pink Floyd years ago may have been able to say, we're going to do 3 albums, and the record company would have believed them, you know. But I think now with modern contracts they'll say, well, the contract is always in the favour of the record company, not the artist. So if you sign for a record company for 3 albums, they have the right after each album to say we don't want the next one. But you don't have the right to say I don't want to record another album for you, I'd go somewhere else. You have to record the 3 albums for that company. So I don't think it would have been possible. And really, we kind of looked at each other nervously when we made the decision. I said, this is a trilogy, this is 3 albums, it's one story, and we're making 1 album this year, 1 album that year, and 1 album that year. And we looked at each other because none of us had ever been in a situation where you can say, I'm definitely going to record an album next year because of finances, this, that, and the other. And it was a leap of faith to go, right, we believe so passionately about this story and about this idea that stretches across 3 albums, we will find a way to make 3 albums. And the only way that we've been able to do it is because fans have believed in me and believed in the project. Because fans, without hearing a single note of music, have said, yes, I send the money for my CD now. Then we go, right, okay, we can make the CD. We have these songs, and then, you know, we had so much help. The studio, Rob Anners, said, we will help you, we believe in what you're doing, we will help you. The fans, my wonderful, wonderful fans, said, we will help you. We will send you the money for the CD. We'll buy our CD. We don't know what we get. We don't know if it's good, but we'll have it anyway because we believe that you do it, and that's it. So the fans, my incredible fans that have been so supportive, they've made this possible.
Yes, and actually, you are making some dates in France, but you will do a special gift to your French fan, like with 2 shows in chez Paulette.
Yes.
What are is there a special relationship with French fans?
Well, yes, really, there is. It's somewhere that many years ago in Wolfsbane I loved to play in France, and we didn't have many opportunities. But when we did play in France, we seemed to have a rapport with the French people. And then in Iron Maiden, in France, I had so much support as the new singer of Iron Maiden, and I never ever forgot that. And French fans followed me from Iron Maiden to my solo career and really listened to what I was doing. So I think that's why I have this rapport. I really enjoy playing in France. And when I was a young man at school and learning French, they stopped me learning French because they said that my handwriting and spelling in English was so bad I couldn't learn French, I had to learn more English. And so I suppose in one way, now I go, well, you know what, I'm in France and I have French friends and French fans and I speak all the little bit of French that I know, the tiny bit I speak it, so fuck you teachers at school. So I think that's it. And I had a choice, this time I had a choice. I have a wonderful manager and I said, I want to make a live album and I want to make it in France. And he said, okay, then we find a way. And we've been working with the French promoter for the last few years, and we've been at Chez Paulette the last few years. And I said, you know, if I had a choice of anywhere that I could make a live album with a lot of songs from the trilogy, I would make it there. And my manager sorted out and the promoter, and I said, I want to do 2 nights. I want 2 nights. I want to do it properly. I want one special night to get everything set up, a special rehearsal, fan club kind of night, and then the next night is the big night of the DVD. And they said, oh, it's very difficult, but they made it happen for me. So it's incredible, really, and I'm so excited about it.
So, obviously, my next question: what's next? What's next after all this tour?
Well, it doesn't really stop this year. We managed to move some things around, so we have some more shows, heavy metal shows in December, and we'll come back. Well, the set will be slightly different because we have so many songs. There are 32 songs in the trilogy, so generally in the set you can only play like 10 of those. So we'll play another few on the next part of the tour, and then in November I'm going to do bring out an acoustic album, classical acoustic with Thomas Face, and do a tour in November. Then I'm working on my book.
We will publish maybe.
I hope it will be out for Christmas of 2019. I hope.
Okay. You said also you learn a lot of songwriting. So now, if you had to work again with Steve Harris, what would you bring to the table? You know?
I think we had a very good relationship.
Yes.
At the end, I learned many things from Steve Harris. It was a fantastic time for me. He taught me so much. He's a very generous man, and I learned a lot from him about how to take the idea from here and put it in rehearsal and get it onto the record. So I think the difference would be now that working, if I was in that situation, if Steve and I got together to write, my ideas will be more complete. And I'd say, here is my idea from start to finish on many occasions. Right, now what do you think? So, but it was a great time, and you know, I wouldn't rule out writing with Steve again. It was fantastic.
Now comes a funny question. You know, Paul Diano was asked in an interview to rate you and Bruce Dickinson for The Voice, and he gave you you and Bruce 7 out of 7.5. Which note will you give to these guys? Really, frankly.
Of Paul, what's it out of? If it's of 10, I say it's 10.
Okay.
So, Bruce is 25. Fantastic. Bruce is a legend. He's an incredible singer. He's a legend. He is an influence on so many people in the history of heavy metal. In 10 or 15 years, if our genre is still going, then Bruce is one of the ultimate voices to express the feeling of heavy metal. And from his early albums, from that, from Number of the Beast right through, he's done some incredible work. Not everything, not every song is incredible, but as an artist, overall, as a performer, most of his work has been absolutely great.
No, but you have a question from maybe the youngest fan you got from 6 years old. He has, with all you did with the book, tour, songs, where do you find the time to sleep?
No, I don't sleep well. But more importantly, it's time to ride my motorcycle. The weather has been very bad this year, and we had to reorganise a lot of shows. The previous 2 years, I started the tour. I could ride my motorcycle on the start of the tour. But this year, the weather was very bad. I couldn't. So this is what I miss, I think, most when I'm on tour, is that if we have a day off or something, I can't get on my motorcycle and ride, because it's like a little holiday. That I got forget everything. I'm on my the sound of the engine is the music, and that's what I miss most, I think.
And now my final question is there a question that a journalist or somebody never asked you, you would like to ask you yourself?
No, not really. There are many questions I don't like being asked. So, no, not really. I think I answer. The most important thing for me is to say thank you to my fans, to say merci beaucoup to all my fans from France who've supported me and made it possible for me to even think about recording my own live DVD, producing my own live DVD. So it's very, very exciting, and that's only possible because of the wonderful support that I have from my French fans.
Okay, thank you, Blaze, and have a nice gig for tonight.
Okay, merci beaucoup.
Remember why you're fighting and just try to keep your head. If your brother falls, then shout, stand up, you're not dead. Your ways of life have saved my life. Your ways of life, they made me believe that I could stand again and fight. They have no compassion, empathy, or sympathy. Every one of us, they will feed into their machine. We are all in pain and we are fighting for our life. Pain tells you that you're alive. You are still in the fight. Your ways of life have saved my life. Your ways of life, they made me believe that I could stand again. Now we stand and fight. Now we stand and fight. Now we stand and fight. Now we stand and fight.